Welcome in to the next episode of our farewell tour of Cities Skylines. We are saying farewell to all of our city builds that we've done over the past 2+ years in Cities Skylines in great anticipation of the release of Cities Skylines 2 at the end of October. Our next tour, which is about to be featured right now, is one of our more recent builds, actually. It is our desert city of San Mooski, loosely inspired on kind of a conglomeration of maybe like northern Mexico, southern Arizona, when you'll see a splash maybe of the United Arab Emirates, maybe a little Dubai in there. So I'm excited to review this build. This was a really fun one. Let's jump in and I'll tell you a little bit about everything that we went through as we put this together, and you can see what came together into what turned out to be our largest city build ever in City Skylines 1. Here we are in San Mooski, and we start at the dam for a specific reason, and that is because we actually spent a grand total of, I believe, 2 to 3 streams actually just getting the dam fully functioning. And you will have to excuse the tour. It will probably be a little laggy. We did push population. As far as modded skylines go, we pushed population pretty hard. So I actually have the game paused to help with the lag. So I'm sorry that you won't get to see like the city fully functioning. Just know, this city actually was our most well-oiled machine that we made. We were cruising on all cylinders. We had 78% traffic flow as you're looking at this. Imagine that this city has 78% traffic flow. It does, actually. I just checked it. So very excited that that ended up coming to fruition. I didn't think that was going to happen, but I'm really pleased with that. Most of my cities were down in the 60s, 60% as far as traffic, so excited about that. But here's the view from the dam, and you can see the dam is a beautiful thing. This existed on the map, and if you're wondering what this map is, it is a reskinned version of Overcharged Eggs Ilos map. It's the vanilla version of that map, and then I reskinned it. It's a fantastic map. Loved working on it, and then the Brahms Red Rock theme is actually what's placed kind of on top of it to give it kind of this look. I really liked what we came up with. It took a lot to get the balance right here. The dam that was in originally was not functioning as far as giving us power, and I wanted a dam that gave us power. I thought that was kind of an important feature that we wanted to go with. So we rebuilt the dam and then carefully tuned the water coming out of it. The thing that took the longest was we had to keep it from overflowing. So you'll notice our beautiful pumps here. Whenever the water level increases, which it just does, apparently the water just ebbs and flows. Whenever it goes up, our dams the dam overflows basically, or puts out more water. It doesn't actually overflow. And our pumps are here to kind of pick up the mess, and they pump water back into the city. It creates our water supply. But whenever that gets too big, this keeps it all kind of functioning well. Did we go through a lot of floods to get there? Maybe. We may have. As you can see, the message of this city quickly became kind of extravagance and seeing if we could do ridiculous things. Now, the city originates, we come across our city, and you can kind of see how everything kind of flows. Our city originates here in Old Town. Now, Old Town obviously became our power supply hub. Obviously, it's a desert city. Solar is very affluent here, so we've got lots of solar power. You can see we're picking up water from along the river, and this is Old Town. Old Town, very gridded. There's a lot of one-way streets here. This is where the city originated. We've got an old church kind of at the center, and all of the kind of typical things. Big cinema, a couple cinemas at the middle. Maybe too many cinemas for Old Town, arguably. And then you can see it kind of built off of the rail. So rail is where the city kind of originated. We've got industry sitting at the back. And at that point, the investors came in, and oil was discovered. And the oil investors decided that Old Town wasn't where they wanted the city, and they put up the Burj Al Mous, the tallest structure in the skyline, and in fact in any skyline, and it's a beautiful asset, and it's a wonderful building. And they put that in. So this is where the ridiculousness started. Somebody in Twitch chat mentioned, hey, wouldn't it be cool to go like bungee jumping or paragliding off of the top of this building? And I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool. What if we made a gondola that goes up to the top? So we did. We made a gondola that actually runs from the ground all the way up to about halfway up the building. It does actually run. It goes all the way up to the top. It's completely ridiculous. And then we decided to build the Skyline just underneath that. So the Skyline actually runs underneath that. There's a large road structure that's centralized around that, and then a large monorail system that actually takes people all around our main portion of town. The rest of this is all gridded out in a kind of a very, very systematic fashion. And then you can see around the Burj Al Mous, we have, in fact, our entertainment district. We have a lovely oasis. We've got jet skis you can rent, all kinds of fun things you can do, and all of our kind of hotels and entertainment venues kind of come into play here. We've got beach volleyball going on, and all of this, of course, overlooked by the gorgeous Burj Al Mous building that climbs into the sky and sets the stage for all of the beauty that is the rest of the kind of the entertainment core of the city. The rest of the city gridded out as needed with schools and different things. And it was at this point that the oil industry actually needed to take place. And so we came out over here and we built in the oil industry. Moose's Oil Jorts, I believe. Somewhat of a tribute to our good friend Canadian Moose Plays. And this is where the oil industry came in. Fully functioning oil industry. That was the other thing we wanted to do with this build, was explore all of the DLCs that I had not explored before. The Industries one being one that I hadn't really played with very much. Campuses was the other one that I wanted to get into, so you'll see that in just a moment. So we formulated our oil industry. We're cranking out a lot of oil in the oil fields here. They've got rail connections coming in, storage places. But of course, people needed to get to work, and Old Town and the main city were pretty far away. So we built in, you can see the different almost barracks-like kind of one unit apartment style stuff that went in, along with some other houses. This house is probably way too fancy for this neighborhood, but you know, good on the people who built that one. And obviously they've got all the fully functioning things here that they would need for a city. But of course, the oil industry requires some level of education, so we came across the way and we put in our technical college, our San Mooski Technical College. And so that is where this technical college came in. Actually based loosely off of a somewhat local community college to me with kind of the circular formats. We kind of copied a little bit based off of that. And so we've got, this is our technical college, fully functioning. Actually got to level 5 on the technical college. And so people can get their degrees to go work in the oil industry, maintain all of the equipment and things needed to keep that up and running here at the technical college. The next idea that I brought to bear on the city was an idea that I wasn't sure would function very well, but here it is, the Circle City. We were gonna have a Line City right here, hence the interchange here. The Line City ran out of funding, unfortunately, and also just a lack of proper willingness to use mods to make it happen. But the Circle City turned out to be quite beautiful. As you can see, we have a big turbine circular interchange at the center of the city, and then a bunch of roundabouts around that, and then everything functions in circular patterns from there. And if you come into the middle of our beautiful Circle City, you can see that every building actually builds upon the last. And so there's a build out from the first ring, and then it gets higher, and then it gets higher until you get out to our kind of more prominent towers. So, and then each of the different spokes is full of different buildings, and then each of the different rings actually has something very exciting as a part of it. So I'll actually show you the rest of this, probably not in camera view, so we'll just close that out and then make sure this stuff is all turned off. Perfect. And so what you can see is here we have Dora's Dog Park for Natalie, one of our viewers, and kind of in memory of a beloved pet, which is very exciting. We dubbed it the world's largest dog park. It goes around the entire circle. Inside of this circle, we have the San Mooski Fun for All Amusement Park. This is all an amusement park right along this whole circle. The San Mooski Exotic Moostopia. This is all a zoo. All of this is one continuous zoo that bridges over top of the highway even with pathing. So you can go visit the zoo. And then the San Mooski Park for Grass, Trees, Shrubs, and Cacti is around the outside. And so we'll give you a look kind of at each of those. Here is our got arches at the end, and then here is our paths for our beautiful trees and shrubs. And then you can see our zoo that comes along each side here. And again, bridging over top of the highway that is sunken. Then we have our amusement park that comes through here, and then our dog parks that come all the way around the interior of our beautiful Circle City. I really like how this looks. I really like how it looks at night. Actually, we'll get some night shots here at the end, but that's how that came to play. We then decided we needed a stadium district. I was gifted the stadiums pack by Bad Peanut. It's one of the most fantastic packs on the. It was one of the best CCP packs that there was. I really like this content creator pack. So we created the stadium district. Obviously, we have to have copious amounts of parking, which of course we do. And I love a couple of our views here. Where you get off the monorail. Get off the monorail as you're coming to a game. You can actually see into the stadium a little bit. This particular asset just fit really well. I've really enjoyed that. We've got our hockey arena, we've got baseball, and we've got, of course, our soccer stadium. And that formulated kind of a really cool thing. It probably could have, this could have used a little more detail. I had elaborate plans for this. I just kind of ran out of inspiration and time to do it. Around our big, we had a lot of parking, so we might as well add shopping. So all of our shopping complexes, fast food restaurants, you can get all of your outings can happen kind of in this segment of town. And we've got all of the shopping things you might need, as well as a large kind of pretty cool looking kind of Central Park-y. I called it Uncentral Park, actually, based off the Central Park asset, but then kind of building out around that in this section. Also threw in over here is all of our kind of emergency services, kind of a government district. So all of our government buildings came in over here. Let's see, lots of monuments to the city, our justice system, as well as any place for basically city government business to be conducted. And then, the city people, they don't like to like drive very far to work, and they want kind of a fancy neighborhood. So we also put in relatively nice kind of neighborhood here for them as well. Some undeveloped land beyond that, and then all of our emergency services here. So large hospital, and then all of our emergency buildings coming across here. It was at that point that we decided a regular university was needed, and so the University of San Mooski came into being off of this interchange exit. I love all of these. We ended up using a lot of Yumbles interchanges, but there's some other ones in here as well. And so here is the University of San Mooski. Beautiful, again, desert college campus. We've got parking, we've got some dorm towers, we've got dorms and fields, our administration building, all of our classrooms kind of coming in through, and then out to here as well, part of campus. And every good campus, of course, needs some housing. This tower's maybe a little bit out of place, but we got some low-density housing followed by some high-density in the neighborhoods here to kind of take the university part and build it up. And then, of course, the University of San Mooski athletics teams, our football field, baseball, tons of parking to get people to the games from the rest of the city, track and field, swimming, and basketball as well taking place. And of course, all those college students needed a place to work. So we built a tech park. This is all kind of high-tech buildings, other offices of the high-tech variety, different like special buildings also, like your software development studio. Everything kind of went in here that would employ the graduates of, so they don't have to go far, You employ all the graduates of University of San Mooski right here in our tech park. I really like the look. If you're on the campus, coming into the campus, you could look back over. This view is really nice. The final addition that we made to the beautiful city of San Mooski was the most ridiculous airport that we could possibly think of. So here is our interchange in. We have a 5-runway system going on what we dubbed the world's largest concourse. So we have the world's largest of just about anything we could think of. It's a fully functioning airport. All of these all of the runways actually land and take off. It's really quite something. We've got a full access to rail. We have full access to a full cargo hub as well, in addition to our kind of baseline regular international air terminal. So you've got tunnels going in, because we can't really have an airport without, like tunnel roads going underneath things, right? So all this fully functional. The museum is here, and then we've got hotels and things along both of these roads, and extra places for planes to be stored, all kinds of good things here at the airport. Overlooks, again, both the skylines, but just off to the side. And then you can see up in the hills where we started, where our original dam was, we did add one final touch to San Mooski, and that was the San Mooski National Park. So up, we come down off of the road, down the river, relatively untouched area of wilderness until you get to our national park area. We've got our buildings up here. You can go bouldering if you want to. Come on down. Get some nice views in. You can actually look back. You can't quite see the city, so it actually gets you a really gorgeous kind of away from the city kind of inspired view. We've got our bridge. Go on a nice long hike. Do some fishing in the river. Do some camping on some of these different areas here. You want to get away from the city and feel like you're away from the city. Can't actually even see the city lights except for in the distance when you're up here. However, if you're a really ambitious hiker, you can make the hike up to this lookout point here, looking over the river as these fine folks have here. But if you're really ambitious, you can take a trail that I don't know is actually safe. And you can swing your way up the mountain. And you can come all the way up. I mean, look, you got to get your hiking boots on and maybe some climbing gear potentially. And swing your way all the way up to our observatory off in the mountains. And this will take you to just a beautiful look of the entire venue of San Mooski from up here. You can see the entire city. We'll go ahead and run it into nighttime here. Run our lights down. Let the shadows kind of come across. And we'll do kind of a deep night view of San Mooski as well. I'm going to try to actually hit the play button here. Just for the sake of... And we'll listen to an ad. We'll listen to one of the beautiful City Skylines ads when we take our final look at the city. I'm going to hit play and see if we can't get it to look the way we want it to. There we go. Lights coming on in the city. We'll come down and we'll take a few looks at the city from lovely nighttime views of our Burj Al Moose, obviously, into the shining pinnacles that are the Circle City. As we get in, you can see how the entertainment districts kind of lights up in the back. Our beautiful buildings. We've got our stadium district, all of our parking lit up.
I do like the music you play and your informative commentary.
Then we've got the Circle City, the beauty of Circle City at night with the lights, traffic functioning and flowing. Again, I can't believe we got traffic to function as well as we did. We've got lots of nighttime buildings. It looks pretty slick. We pan around. I guess it would do bad. I've been surprised. And we've got, obviously, we flip back around all the way. You'll be able to see in the background. There it is. Burj Al Moose rising from our city. Just zoom out. Again, plans for the Lion City fell through. But this is how it turns out. Circle City looking beautiful. We've got the airport, the university, the stadium district, our graded city. We've got our oil district, our San Mooski Technical College. All of it functioning to the tune of 129,000 population and growing. Very proud of this particular city and how it turned out. Just ended up looking great. You can see we've got planes going. We've got traffic flowing on our freeways. And look at the city. Planes crossing in the air. Really enjoyed this build. It was a really, really fun build. It was fun to just do everything in a kind of a ridiculous way. Obviously, a lot of this is not like, it wouldn't necessarily be the greatest idea. We spent a ton of money. You can see we're on infinite money. The city was never financially feasible, despite the oil industry's attempt. But, you know, the investors decided this is where they wanted to put their money, so they just kept pouring it in. And so that's what we ended up with. I'll leave you with a final kind of view from up on our tower here. The sun should be coming up, and we get kind of a nice view of the city from the mountains here. We'll just let it kind of play into the sunset as we remember a really fun build. Got to do the Industries DLC, got to do the Campuses DLC, got to mess around with some ridiculous things, and really enjoyed this build. It was a lot of fun to kind of take inspiration from the community, put it all together. Got a little bit draining on the eyes to be in the desert for this long, but that was, worth it when we got to the next map, which was much more green and pretty. So you can see, I love the sunset transition on this map was also very pretty. So there you have it, our San Mooski tour. Thank you so much for being a part of the builds. If you were part of the builds and you're just kind of witnessing them again now as part of this farewell tour, we have two more we have 2 more cities that we will tour. One of them is our original build, and the other one will be our most recent build. I kind of bookend it with those actually at the end, which I'm excited about showing off. So we'll get to those here in the coming months, as we have about 2 months now before the release of City Skylines 2. Excited to show you those builds as well. You'll see the next one in about a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.